This video is about a key component of the atmosphere, the energies, the frequencies, the wavelengths that we see in America and in the world. It is about the opposition views rape called energy, their sexual energy, their so-called luciferian energy, their trickery energy. I call the effect it has the quote-unquote proud of our bitch effect. So I've traced this energy from Africa, through Sumer, through Crete, through Greece and Rome, to the rest of Europe, to the rest of the world as the dominant path. Now, it expressed itself in pretty much every culture all over the world, except for the martial arts alpha male culture. Strong examples include Odin, right? He's a magician, the crow, with the raven. Min, the deity of chemists. Zeus, shape-shifting rapist. Neptune, shape-shifting rapist. Pan and Dionysus, they use alcohol, right? A chemical-using rapist. Dionysus, Bacchus, Pan, and so on. So number one, what comes to mind, I'm not sure a lot of people have seen this video. It's ooh, nana, look what you done started kind of thing, right? I don't really sing and whatever. All right, so it's about this guy using his sexual energy in his R&B song. It's like Trey Songz or something like that, to work out. Sexual energy, it's really frustrated energy. He's sexually frustrated, and she's teasing him, and he's working out with her instead. Okay. Now, this seems like, at face value, some kind of flirty, kind of fun thing. No. When you really analyze it for what it is rape energy. It's his desire to force her to do it his way, but not on behalf of the Pharaoh, right? He's not doing it on behalf of God. Follow the divine order and make love to me. No, he's not saying that. And ultimately, if they're in the divine order, there's really no need for force. The force is for the person who doesn't do it God's way, who needs to be punished. And almost certainly that punishment won't include rape unless there's a pressing need to reproduce the recruits to fight the holy war. Obviously, this thing will not exist. The divine order does not exist after I die. All these things need to be understood. So again, it was an example of a sexy kind of Puerto Rican or some kind of Hispanic chick, turning on this black guy who's in pretty good shape with a kind of baby face, kind of sissy, kind of the bitch made, the guys who were bitches in Egypt sort of face, Atum, happy, the deities were these sissy cartoon face pussies. Okay, number two, we have the perv nerd rape called energy. Okay, the geek who kind of sex torts bitches, right? Oh, Beavis and Butthead type of pussy. He's a pansy, he's a sissy, he's a geek, he's a nerd, he's a weakling, he's pathetic. Okay, and he's trying to use his quote-unquote intellect, which is really his female brain, to win over chicks in society who are gold diggers. This guy eventually works the tricks of the trade to get the tricks who are betrayed and who have betrayed themselves by going along with it. Okay, so you have the kind of workout energy, which goes into a lot of the workouts for the athletes. We say, it's pretty much the energy in society, the sexual energy, the rape called frustrated energy. The rape by illusion, rape cults and cultures we see, right, use these two energies mostly. Okay. So number three, let's consider that females only respond to the rape using trickery, psychology, illusion, chemistry, etc., based cultures. If you're not a goth or a geek or a jock, all these different cultures that use these energies to get things done and the various activities that are connected to them. Go to the bar, right? Go to a party, go to a frat party. All these rape energy, they're in a rape energy kind of way. Okay, and this is to be distinguished from the divine spirit of love, which reveals truth to women and then helps them make an effective decision. If they're not choosing the divine order, it's safe to say they're fucked in the head and you're taking advantage of them, no matter how much they seem to understand. So when you have a woman who's thoroughly educated as to what is right and what is wrong and still chooses wrong, she still needs to be forced to do the right thing. That's like saying somebody who knows it's not right to rape little boys, and you're not supposed to force them to stop raping little boys. Okay, it all connects to the divine order. Everybody who's not obeying me, if the world was right, would be forced to obey me. Because I am the righteous one. And they're acting like controlled they're behaving as controlled sniveling bitches. Okay. So females only respond to this rape called energy, rape by illusion, social norm, bitch energy. A good example of how they're fucked in the head is an old commercial of Grant Hill. They say Grant Hill drinks Sprite, and then this guy's trying to mimic him, right? It's like all these other martial artists and people and religious people and so on, right? People trying to be alphas, people trying to be the head of their households, men and women alike, and children. You know, they think that all it takes for Grant Hill to dunk is to drink Sprite. The commercial goes, if you want to quench your thirst, drink Sprite, right? Drinking the Kool-Aid, if you will. If you want to make it to the NBA, practice. If you want to be a sniveling bitch, don't obey. If you want to make it to heaven and really be a man, obey. Okay. So it also is comparable to the Bible. The Bible and this commercial, it's touching on this idea, but it's not really effectively conveying it. That's also why I'm meant to interpret the Bible and give the speeches, not all these people outside the divine order, because they're not effectively conveying the point of the Bible. They're not preparing these people, mind, body, and soul, to receive the true Spirit of God. What they're doing is hinting at it to people who are more likely to obey. And they're screening them out at a certain rate. Rates, ratio, castrate. How do you castrate the idea of the followers of God? Is you make the Bible and other things, and they act as a screen to get rid of these people. And that's why you see people gotten rid of, right? The people who made the Bible came together to screen out people like me. They didn't make the Bible so you would obey the divine order, or else they would have an emphasis on martial arts. Number 4, and the right type of martial arts. We see all the evidence here in the sayings, right? To get it in, right? Get it in what? One way or another? The old fuck you. Why is it fuck you? Because it's a rape called energy. And they're irritated, right? It's that frustration, that rapist frustration. Fuck you, right? This person got fucked in the ass. He got raped in the ass in that deal, right? To rape the land. Get the fuck out of here, because they're in this rape called energy that they're trying to have their way with everyone. Okay. To turn out someone. This has everything to do with learned sexual behavior and the sexual component in control, right? To control. It has everything to do with a learned martial art routine like all these other martial artists have as they're being trained in the rape called energy to have learned behaviors, okay? Versus thinking effectively to outmaneuver your opponent and strike them effectively, okay? Now obviously I've been reduced in this form, I've been drugged covertly and otherwise, on record and otherwise, okay, with 17 witnesses. So I'm not going to perform as effectively as I did before, as they messed up my eyes, my lungs, my body, and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So the old get the fuck out of Dodge. Why? This has to do with the back, right? This has to do with lateral movements. Who's trained for these movements? What body structure is most effective to dodge out of the way and to strike effectively? Okay? It has everything to do with these things. So, again, if you don't understand, I don't see why you wouldn't. Anything but obeying God is trying to find your life in this world, unless you're killing yourself or something. You're trying to find your life. And if you're trying to find your life, you're going to do it the devil's way, right? You know, you're going to try to trick people and con people one way or another. Whether you have a legitimate job, right, that you don't go to jail for, which is just another rapist's job to trick women into bed and to trick people into liking them so they can maintain their practice, their job, their career, okay? It's basically rape by illusion and chemistry. Women are basically out of touch. People are out of touch. There's substances in the food. They're given psych meds. They're drinking and they're smoking and there's chemicals in the air. And people are breeding with dumb fucks who have a chemical imbalance in their brain, and not like mental health would say, because they're some of the most fucked in the head people. Some of the most fucked in the head people want to drug people, when they're fucked in the head themselves and won't obey the divine order. That's fucked in the head. And some of the most fucked in the head people in society are the people in mental health, the psychiatrists, and on the APA, American Psychiatric Association, American Psychological Association, all those bitches. Okay, all these various associations and councils of complete sicko, sex cult, rapist trash. Anyway, it's also right there in the wordplay with approaching, right? Up-pro-a-c. Backwards, ka-erp. Remember, erp in Egyptian means wine. Think about Sumer and Egypt, right? Cuneiform and hieroglyphics, respectively, right? This is where languages, written language is said to come, right? From symbols and symbolism, which goes back to magic spells and spelling. Okay, alphabet and so on. Vowel, L, vowel to L, L meaning Lord and so on. So anyway, when approaching women, now that we understand all this thing, right? There's a rape energy in the air. Like Bob Marley saying, there's a natural mystic flowing through the air. Again, I don't sing, I'm trying to illustrate my point. Okay, there's a rape called energy in society. If women were human, okay, they were more human than demon, they would say, let me find a way out of this, right? It's kind of like someone's choking you and you're gasping for air. You're a fish out of water. Someone's stabbing you, you're like, stop, you're trying to get them to stop. They would be struggling to get me out of this. But no, they are the rape, part of the rape called energy in the air. They're just trying to find a position in the rape, the greater rape called energy that they're comfortable with. That's what people are doing. They're a bunch of rapists. They are the children of rapists. They are sons and daughters of rapists. Okay? Remember, the blameless one can't rape. Because even if I tied one of these bitches up and raped them, okay? All I would be doing is stealing back just a speck of what they have stolen from me. As I am the top martial artist, and I should be the most revered man. I should have the admiration of potential fucking wives. There isn't a martial artist on the planet that doesn't get that, okay? You go to, it's even written here in this book, Fighting for Knowledge by Fighting for Honor. Not knowledge. Fuck the knowledge. Knowledge is for a bunch of sniveling bitches. Anyway. So it should be page 11. Okay. Mastery in either art could bring a skilled practitioner respect for his graceful execution, right? The grace of God. Not a bunch of sniveling illusion bitch. The admiration of potential wives and economic advancement. They're cheating me out of these things. They would make it a walk in the park to get a hot chick. So no matter what I do, I could never be a rapist in truth. Even if I spent the rest of my life trying to force women into having sex with me and I was successful. But they, no matter how they have sex, couldn't be anything other than a rapist. Because the reality of the situation, what it means to be human, is to revere the top martial artist and to obey. What it means to be a rape cult, illusion-based, trickery con man with a con plan, sicko, is not to obey the top martial artist. It is that simple. Okay. So, when approaching women, we must consider receptivity and response, right? Remember, responsibility. It's her responsibility to do the right thing and to submit to Pharaoh and not to comply with this rape cult. Just because your whole family is rape cult bitch doesn't mean you should be as well. Just because the other rape cult bitches are going to punish them who are serving them anyway, no servant can be greater, doesn't mean you should let them leverage your family and control your behavior. Anyway, social norms, mores, the ethos, the atmosphere, the kind of idea that dominates the society, right? Cowboy town, the cowboy ideas. New York City, right? Big city life, technology, corruption, drugs, greed, right? These ideas that dominate these are all sex cult, rape cult ideas. Okay? Even the cowboys are more natural than that, but they still have guns and technology, and they're still not revering martial artists. They're revering cowboys and cowboy culture and rich ranchers and so on. Right? This is a false order based on liars who end up having sex with the most attractive women. They're some of the most despicable form of organized rapists you can think of. Who needs to human track, if anybody, if you brainwash them and they're acting like they're sex slaves right there in your own hometown? Okay. Appearance, first impression, and expression, and gene expression are connected. Subcultural barriers must be considered. What is the accompanying moral code? And its various forms. What we see in the gene expression, the RNA, is father to son. We know who it is by who has the strongest moral value. And the Spirit chooses him, and he uses that righteous indignation, that desire to restore the divine order, to outmaneuver people effectively, and then strike them effectively. Okay? That is how the Spirit chooses the top martial artist.